it didn't begin as Black Swan Ballet Company. It began as a bunch of kids and parents getting together, dancing, dancing well, and talking about what they're going through.
I don't really know how I started to like dancing. One day I just said, oh, I like dancing. And then we went to ballet classes. And then I danced I started when I was 5. And then we went to the ballet. And I really liked it.
I have a person who described the dancers in Black Swan as the ugly ducklings who don't realize they're swans yet.
I was the one type of girl who would like watch all the Barbie movies and try to dance along to them. When I was younger, my mom and my dad, they didn't really have enough money, so they didn't, they couldn't put me into like schools. And from there, I kind of would just try to like self-teach myself how to dance and stuff. So I just really wanted to keep on dancing, even though I knew I couldn't get like the professional training. I think it was 2015, I went to York County School of Technology, and I was able to meet Miss Wakenda there. She was actually trying to give us classes to show us what theater were about, and she gave us different types of pieces with like makeup and dance and different things like that. And from there, I knew that she was kind of like the person that I could trust to talk about it, because she was also a dancer. She told me about it, and from there, I kind of like knew that she'll be like the teacher for me. And then I started talking to her about it. I didn't go to her school yet, but I did start talking to her about it. And from there, I was able to do dance into the theater by doing like hairspray and different things like that with Weary Arts Group.
Black Swan Ballet Company is a passion project, actually. We are a nonprofit. What we do is we offer classes, we offer intensives, scholarship opportunities, and performance opportunity for dancers who are passionate about ballet, but they don't see themselves reflected in the mirror of their studio.
Well, I didn't choose Black Swan. Black Swan picked me. Well, Miss Rakenda picked me, and basically the company. It wasn't until I was like 13, I think I figured. I did the whiz for the first time in forever, and I was in the back. I was the ensemble piece and stuff, and I was dancing, just, catching on to the choreo, and people were like, oh, Vanna, you can dance and stuff, and Mr. Kendall was like, hey, won't you come and be with me? So I've been dancing with Mr. Kendall for 4 years, and it was way before Black Swan even happened to even, like, develop and prosper. I'm grateful for that, because now she gets to have her own company under her, and it's just great being underneath her. She chose me, and she was like, I want you to start taking classes and stuff. And I was like, okay. And then I just started showing up, and then we started growing from there.
All of the dancers are passionate about ballet, and they want to continue with it. And so it's beautiful to have them look at themselves in the mirror and see someone who looks like them. Ring with the harmonies of liberty.
Just having somebody like notice you, even I feel like that's one of my reasons why I really fell in love with Miss Rakenda and stuff, and just being part of her company. As dancing and stuff, I didn't really have a support system, so just having her there to support me, like, hey, I noticed you, or after a show, everybody would go off to their families. So she was like, you did so awesome, you did so great, and it was enough for me to feel like I was doing my part in the ballet industry and just dancing in general.
The other component of Black Swan is the performance opportunities. And it's not just performances opportunities for our dancers, it's also free and low cost for the general public. So the most that we've ever charged is a small donation or a canned good for a food bank or something like that. But we try to make sure that every performance we do is either free or very, very, very low cost for the public.
The mission for the company is to open up avenues and opportunities for dancers that are of all walks. Because dance is aesthetic, specifically classical ballet is very aesthetic, there is a body type, there is a look, a color, a feel that is in line with ballet that has been from the beginning. And one of the things that when Warkenda started talking about the vision of Black Swan was opening it up to dancers of all color, all shape, all ethnicities, people who aren't maybe built like classical ballerinas with very small heads and very long limbs. It's opening the classical dance world to the beauty of diversity. And I love that. That I feel very passionate about. I get chills even talking about it because it's so important to allow dancers to do this thing that they're so incredibly gifted and talented at. And you know, these dancers are passionate about what they do. They love dance.
So Black Swan Ballet Company is really, really unique in several different ways. First, we're not a studio at all. We're not for profit. We are literally nomads. So we bounce from place to place. We have no loyalty to any studio at all. We literally welcome all dancers from every studio possible. So first and foremost, we aren't beholden to ourselves or the organization or having to pay for, our building or anything like that. We literally are able to continue the mission of Black Swan. That's the best way to put it. We look very different than everybody else. When our dancers look in the mirror, we have muscular dancers. We have dancers who are Black, Indigenous, people of color. We have dancers that were told they were too short to ever do ballet. We have dancers that were told they were too curvy to ever do ballet. And they're here. And they're doing beautifully.
We've been blessed to have the Black Swan Ballet Company with us now for a few years, and they have worked along with us. They've come to Christmas Eve worship and dance for us there, telling the Christmas story through dance. They've been part of our Juneteenth celebrations, National Night Out, Martin Luther King Jr. Celebrations, a number of different things that we've been able to do. They've been part of the work of sharing God's love and God's message of love and acceptance with the community around us.
Our performances tend to be things that are important for Black, Indigenous, people of color, BIPOC people. One we just had that was about the impact of George Floyd's murder on the community. And I don't see anybody else doing art that is about that, that's specifically ballet. Part of what we do, we have intensives, of course, but before we as I'm teaching the choreography, I give them the reason behind it.
People that are the majority tend to go, I don't like you.
That's mean.
And they will, it is mean. I agree with you. That's just mean. But the problem is they'll pick different people to say, I don't like you, and different reasons to say, I don't like you.
Did one that was for Martin Luther King's Day, and there's one part where they all turn and point, and it's the exact picture that everyone sees that's after Dr. Martin Luther King was shot. And you see the three people pointing to the balcony, and that's the picture. And I wanted them to realize that. So there's a lot of education involved that's more than just technique and more than just performance.
It's a case of, you're not like me, therefore I don't like you. And I'm going to make sure that nobody likes you either. Anybody here felt that before?
Yes.
You have. We've talked about it. Okay?
Wait, what?
The feeling of somebody coming up to you and saying, I don't like you because you're not like me, and I don't want anybody else to like you either. So we as a group, that's what we feel from time to time. What would you say to the Asian American Pacific Island community as a whole if you could say something to them while they're going through this? Because they're hurting. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I don't understand at all what you particularly are going through, but I'm here to listen. and also opening that dialogue. So hopefully that's what we can do with this one little bitty tiny piece.
Somehow we do it, somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished.
So being a part of the Black Swan Ballet Company is a really big deal, especially when it comes to trying to get more cultures involved with something that has been traditionally only seen as one thing. Having the representation of Black Swan, I think, is going to be a game changer, especially in this area. It is really important for people of all ages to see themselves represented. And I think that as much as Ms. Wakenda has done so far, she's really making it the impact that we need for this.
A lot of my private classes were dancers of color, or dancers that at their studio they didn't see another one of them, or dancers at their studio were told, oh yeah, you shouldn't do ballet, you should do something else. But they were passionate about ballet, and someone told them that, hey, there's this lady who will love you no matter what and continue to teach you amazing technique. And then I had the idea of putting them all together. And it worked, and they could see each other, and they kind of sparked off of each other. And so that's where it really, the very, very beginning of it began.
Characters and conditions of man. And so we lift our gaze not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. In this truth, in this faith we trust, for while we have our eyes on the future, history has its eyes on us. While once we asked, how could we possibly prevail over catastrophe?
There was a comment made a while ago. My son, biracial, another dancer who's biracial, but she is Pacific Islander and white. And someone mentioned, oh my goodness, could they not find any black dancers? And I'm just going, it's like, what? No, but both of those dancers, my son, who is 6 foot tall, full muscular, hair down his back, does not look like the typical male ballet dancer. And he knows that when he walks into an audition somewhere else, or whether it's other men, because they all look like that lithe, thin prince. The girl is this short little Pacific Islander, adorable ballet dancer who is a spitfire and can match my son length for length when they jump across the floor. The thing they have in common is when they look in the mirror, nobody else looks like them. When they go to a workshop, nobody else looks like them, but they're passionate about what they do. And I really think they're going to end up changing the world.
Well, it all started when I was like three years old. My mom sat me down because I've been like, I have to go back further than when I was 3. When I was a newborn, my mom took me with her to all like her classes that she taught for Nashville Ballet, and like I would always stand at the bar with my hands up doing plies. Of course, I was really small, so my hands were fully extended above my head. It was hilarious. But I would be dancing at the bar, and she was like, he's gonna want to be a dancer, but I'll still ask him. So she sat me down when I was 3 and was like, hey, do you wanna dance, or do you wanna do something else? And I gave her 2 answers. I said, I either want to be a ballet dancer or a Jedi. So far, the Jedi isn't working out. So I've been dancing now for about 13 years, and I've loved it.
I started dancing when I was really little, and I started because I was following my sister, and my parents put me in it because my sister was dancing and because I wanted to do it and I was little. I don't think they had any idea that I was going to be as serious about it as I became. And for years, I was planning on being a professional dancer, and I still want to have ballet. I know I want to dance until the day I die, but I don't know that I can do it in a company. It's just something that has always been a mental outlet for me. I think I sleep better at night when I get to dance. It's like taking a dog for a walk.
Dance is like their breath. If they're not dancing, they're not happy. I mean, I watched my daughter Grace just deteriorate over COVID when she had to go out of the studio, and I mean, she was in bed for like a week. She just couldn't figure it out, and she was trying to do Zoom classes. It was so hard. As a mom, I see what dancers need to do. They just need to do it. And to not have opportunities because, for example, you look Asian, or you are short, or you are African American. You don't have the same line in the corps de ballet, and the corps de ballet is all visual. And so if you're not a certain height, or a certain weight, or a certain skin color, it disrupts the line.
In the ballet world, it is considered white. We don't see any dancers our color. When Misty Copeland came along, and she was the first black ballerina in American Ballet Theater, it was like, wait a minute. If she can do this, everybody else can start a dance company, and especially in ballet. You see a lot of black dancers in modern, but you hardly see them in ballet. And to become a principal dancer in ballet, yeah, we were like, oh no, we got to start something around here. And the kids need it.
So we have some kids who are Pacific Islander, and so they would talk about Asian American Day, and they would explain what they're going through, and then another kid would explain what they're going through because of being, a mixed race child, and it was just absolutely beautiful. My dancers are smart. They're brilliant. And one of the things that I say before, when they are starting to look into becoming part of Black Swan, I give them this little speech, and they all kind of look at me and say, oh, yeah, we've got that. Maybe every single one. If your grades dip, you're gone. Period. If you disrespect your mother or your father, you're gone. Because of who we are, we have to work 3 times harder, be 5 times stronger, and be much smarter, because we have an uphill battle. And I expect you to work that hard, and I'm going to push you that hard. And every single one rises to that occasion. They're amazing.
Miss Wakanda is an amazing, kind person, and she helps anybody with what they need in dance and stuff. And she's also good to talk to, and she's very funny.
Oh, she's really nice, and some days we're just I'm so tired. Yesterday was a bad day, and she just goes with it. She understands us a lot, so I like that about her. My sister, she's been doing it for a while, and I would see her dance performance, and I would be like, I want to do it. So my mom got me into it, and I just loved it for a long time.
We were introduced to Wakanda through our friend Candace Bowden, and I loved the idea of Karis being around an environment where there were older dancers, more experienced dancers, and she was performing for the community. She wasn't just doing recitals. She was actually performing and doing something that gave back to the community.
Arms up, starburst. I want you to bow. Yes! Yes! Now can you be brave and let go? Woohoo!
We call her Miss Wakanda, but Mama Wakanda is very appropriate. She is amazing. I did not know when we started with Black Swan Ballet what she had experienced as far as the racial issues that she had experienced, and that just even gives me more respect for the choices that she's made with her time and her energy and her gift to be able to inspire and make a difference in the ballet world that I also agree is been a long time coming when it comes to, you know, color and hair types and body shapes, and I think it's wonderful that we're in a time where those walls are being taken down for other dancers who just love to dance.
When I was little, I loved seeing people on YouTube dance a lot. And I asked my mom if I could go dance, and she said I could. And I've been dancing for years, and I met Miss Wakenda, and she helped me get my point shoes.
Every dancer has a different body shape, a different size. At the dance shop, we do carry multiple sizes, colors for every type of dancer, every shape. It's really truly important that once a dancer is fitted correctly, they feel it within themselves, and their passion for their own dance expressions come out that way. So we do carry all different types of tones for every skin tone, as well as sizes. I'm actually a professional dance retailer, fitter, very rare in the industry, and I think that's one reason why Black Swan uses me, because I am that professional fitter, and I do truly have a passion for every type of dancer. The biggest challenge is actually the width of the foot, not so much the length of the foot, as well as the width of the body of a dancer. That's the most challenging. So as a dance retailer, we make sure we actually stock all that. We stock up to 5 different widths of products for any type of dancer.
The past dancers, some are teachers, some have formed their own companies, which is absolutely amazing. The current ones right now, we have 3 who are going off to ballet intensives, 2 to Sarasota Ballet, 1 to School of American Ballet. So they are serious, very, very serious. Our younger ones are already, which I call the signets, are so passionate about what they do. And they're little ambassadors everywhere they go. It's like, have you seen this ballet? And they're just so excited. But I could talk all day about my kids. They're definitely my kids.
I've been dancing a very long time, and I feel like dance is therapeutic. It's a meditation, and it's a lot of fun. Plus, I can use my body. I'm not normally a speaker, sort of. I use my body to project what I want to say.
I was Sugar Plum Fairy in the Nutcracker Ballet in 2019. And I remember taking a bow, and I had gotten through the whole pas de deux, the coda, the variations, all of it, which is incredibly hard. And my partner and I were bowing, and I already thought, I did it, I've made it. But I hadn't made it, I just accomplished that goal. You never fully make it. But I loved what I was doing. And I remember thinking, I love ballet.
We don't have the prestige of American Ballet Studio behind us. We don't have, the people of, the president coming down, and we don't have that. We are a York, Pennsylvania, homegrown, amazing place with amazing dancers who take from bunches of studios all over the place. They receive intensives here, they receive scholarships here, but why? I wonder that every single day. I'm just blessed, and I'm so thankful that they have decided to share their gifts with us. They didn't have to. There is no tuition to join. There's no tuition to stay. There's no reason for them to stay other than each other and what we do. Sorry, but I have no idea, other than hearing from the other students and the parents, just what it's doing for them.
Characters and conditions of man. And so we lift our gaze not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. Even as we breathed, we grew, that even as we... Till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea.
I've told people that ballet training is the best type of discipline training that you can have outside of boot camp. There are certain mores that you have to follow. All of the students who've ever had me, I tell them when they go out into the world, people should know that my name is stamped on your back because they look people in the eye. They say thank you to everyone who has been a part of their world. And that's part of the ballet world norm. At the end of class, you say thank you. You look the person in the eye and you say thank you to every person who's given something to you that day.
Bring it on. Like, we want diversity. We want that line to be full of movement and looking unified we are unified in our diversity, but classical ballet doesn't typically acknowledge that.